Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how much dividend income I made in 1 week from high yield ETFs and what my strategy is. But before I do, please smash that like button for this banger of a video so the algorithm gods know that I'm here, and hit subscribe if you're new so that you know whenever I go live where I talk about finance news, stocks, and investing, or I publish a new video like the one you're watching now. With that out of the way, guys, let's get into the video. All right. So this is my portfolio on Robinhood, and this week we're going to just focus on a couple of the ETFs, the weekly pay ETFs, all right? I have PLTW, NVIDIA, CHIPPY, and XDTE. So I'm going to go through these real quick just so you understand what they are in case you want to research them a little further. So the first one is going to be XDTE. This is the S&P 500 zero DTE covered call strategy ETF. All right. And this pays on a weekly basis. This basically tracks the underlier, the S&P 500. Right. So for me, this is a big anchor in the portfolio. And I'll explain that here in a moment. But this is a big anchor in the portfolio and this pays weekly. So I really do like this ETF. I also hold the Palantir Weekly Pay ETF. I'm very bullish on Palantir. However, Palantir doesn't exactly pay a dividend. So this is a nice proxy or a nice, alternative to owning Palantir if you're very bullish on the stock and if you want to also make some type of income. And this is from Roundhill. And this pays weekly. So I like this one a lot. This is, again, I'm very bullish on Palantir. I really think they have a lot of, future growth in mind for them. So I'm keeping an eye on them. I also have the NVIDIA Weekly Pay ETF. And again, this is from Roundhill. And what this one is it's very similar to the weekly pay for Palantir. As a matter of fact, it's identical. The only difference is that it's NVIDIA, and I'm very bullish on NVIDIA. I think they're coming out with a lot of new tech that's going to be very beneficial to this whole AI thesis that's going on, where everyone is buying up AI, artificial intelligence, and all these companies want to move and branch into artificial intelligence. So I really think NVIDIA has a lot of runway in the future, and definitely a lot of future demand, especially with their new Blackwell series of chips that just came out. We also have CHIPPY. I'm very bullish on the semiconductor space. You'll have companies in there like AMD, NVIDIA, Broadcom, Qualcomm, all types of other different semiconductors in there. So I'm very bullish on the sector. And I wanted to make some type of income because this is a income portfolio. So I couldn't find another product on the market, but I did find the YieldMax Semiconductor Portfolio Option Income ETF, CHIPPY. And this is what I basically invested my money into. Again, each of these different ETFs that I own, there's a reason for them, at least for these ones. This one, I just wanted a lot of exposure to the S&P 500 to create that anchor for my portfolio. All right, so let's go into the distribution schedules and find out exactly how much I made. And for that, we're going to go into the community and we're going to pull up the distribution announcement from Roundhill. So looking at this, hopefully it doesn't blind you guys. For this week, NVIDIA Weekly Pay ETF, NVW, paid out 35 cents a share. That's really nice. For weekly pay for Palantir, it paid out 40 cents a share. So this was not too bad. It was, I think the week was really good, actually. I know they released their new distribution schedules for Palantir and NVIDIA and pretty much everything here. So next week's dividend payout is going to be very nice. I think Palantir Weekly Pay is sitting at like 68 cents, but these will fluctuate. It really depends on how good of a week that these individual stocks have, right? Tesla, Apple, Coin, Palantir, NVIDIA. They have to have a lot of momentum behind them. There has to be something pushing the stock higher to get these better payouts. But, I really think, again, I'm very bullish on NVIDIA and Palantir, and I kind of gave you my reasons why. Scrolling down, we also have CHIPPY, and this is coming from YieldMax. So CHIPPY is going to be paying out 39 cents a share, which isn't bad. It's one of the higher distributions they've made out. They made out a 60-cent distribution a couple weeks ago, but this is also a weekly payer. And again, I'm really bullish on the semiconductor space. I know we have all this stuff happening, with, politics and international relations and trade. But I think once we get past that and once things are more clear, I believe the semiconductor space is going to have a great stellar year, especially since they have so much tailwind behind them relating to artificial intelligence and the demand for chips. So I really do like CHIPPY. But yes, they're going to be paying out 39 cents a share. All right. And then to finish this off, we also had Roundhill publish their distribution for the XDTE. All right, so this one is coming in at 21 cents a share. So this is probably a little on the lower end side of their recent distributions, but not bad. I mean, I will take it. It's better than zero. So this is actually a decent payout here. The other ones, in case you're interested, look at this. Roundhill Bitcoin Covered Call ETF, 51 cents a share. That is pretty nice. So shout out to anyone that owns, I think it's YBTC. Yeah, shout out to anyone that owns YBTC. All right, moving on. So how much did I actually make? Well, I have 700 shares of PLTW, 700 shares of NVW, 195 shares of CHIPPY, and then 1,500 shares of XDTE. So these were the amounts. I'm not going to use a spreadsheet or anything for this because, you know, I can just show you guys right here and do the math for you. But PLTW paid out $282, NVW paid out $236, CHIPPY paid out $77, and XDTE paid out $317. All right, this is giving me a total for the week of $913, right, and 83 cents. Not a bad week, all right? I think this is actually a really good week. I mean, this is almost $1,000 just for the week, right? And these are paying me weekly. So the number has actually been around about $1,000, give or take, maybe $100 plus or minus. So, you know, just from this portfolio, I am making a pretty decent amount of money per month. All right, but there is a little bit of a, you know, secret that I want to share with you guys in case you're new. I do use a lot of margin, an excessive amount of margin, so much margin it would make your head spin. All right. I use 100% of my margin. I'm just sitting on a little bit of cash right now. I'm waiting for some dips to happen, and then I'll probably buy in. But yes, I do use a lot of margin, but I do have also a lot of margin buffer. This portfolio would have to see a drawdown of $38,000 in order for me to get what's known as a margin call. And even a margin call, it's not the end all be all, right? They just give you some time to make the account current, you know, to take care of that deficit. You know, they're not going to come and just liquidate your whole account. All right. So just keep that in mind. It's not as scary as some people might think. It does suck because if you're down $38,000 and then they start to liquidate your shares, you're selling essentially at a loss. So you have to be very careful because this can amplify your losses. So be very, very careful if you utilize margin and do so responsibly. I do have a video I'm working on, which will explain this a lot more in detail. All right. So what is the strategy I follow? Well, this is the strategy. All right. I have a whole video on this, my framework for investing in high yield ETFs. And this is it. This is all it is, right? XET XPay is my anchor or my core in the portfolio. That's where a bulk of the cash lives. And then I have these little satellite holders over here, right? CHIPPY will probably be somewhere in between, you know, NVW, you know, PLTW and the anchor, because I do want to get CHIPPY to a sizable allocation. But NVW and PLTW, because these are single stock exposed ETFs, I want to be very, very careful in how I introduce that to the portfolio. All right. Plus, these are leveraged ETFs. These are 1.2x leveraged ETFs, meaning that, you know, you're getting 120% exposure to NVW or to NVIDIA and Palantir. So if the stock moves up, you know, 10%, you're going to see, you know, 12%. If it goes down 10%, you know, you're going to go down 12%, right? Or if it goes down 10%, you're going to go down 12%, right? I hope that makes sense. And I hope the math is mathing. But anyways, this is pretty much it, right? I don't really do any swing trades anymore. I don't do dividend capture plays. Not something I really want to do, but I did try the swing trades at one point, and, you know, I have the losses to prove that it just is a little more difficult than I had anticipated. So I don't really do it anymore. So now I'm more of a buy and hold type of investor where I'll buy these types of plays and, you know, I'll keep my anchors. All right. So this is how the portfolio is set up and what what my strategy is. All right. So other than that, guys, I think that will do it. I think that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, got a little bit of value. All right. This is, this is a long-term journey. This is a long-term investment. You need to hold these for a very long time if you plan to get into the high yield space. All right. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, not a financial advisor or anything like that, but my intention is to hold these for as long as possible, as long as I possibly can, while collecting a lot of distributions, a lot of dividend income. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you got some type of value from it. If you did, make sure to like, make sure to comment. I look forward to your comments. What would you improve? What would you change? What is in your portfolio? How do you view investing? Just real quick, this is the core satellite approach. All right. This is the core satellite approach. There is nothing new about this framework. This has been around for a very long time. I just put some pretty colors and some shapes in here to give it, an idea, to give it a concept. But if you're interested in implementing this, you could take a screenshot of this and kind of do your own research. But this is exactly my approach to high yield investing. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Take care.